You have $10,000 sitting in your bank account right now, and it's quietly bleeding out. Every single day. While you sleep. While you scroll. While you tell yourself you're being smart by saving. And no, this isn't another inflation rant. The truth is way uglier than that, because the people who designed the system you're using right now, they're counting on you to do exactly what your parents told you to do. Park it. Save it. Be responsible. That advice was solid in 1985. In 2026, it's financial suicide in slow motion. Let me show you what's actually happening. The average high-yield savings account in the U.S. right now pays around 4% to 4.5%. Sounds decent, right? Feels like you're winning. But here's the problem. Official inflation numbers don't always feel like real life. Because even when inflation cools on paper, people still feel squeezed by the stuff they actually buy every month. Groceries, insurance, rent, utilities. The numbers may say one thing, your bank account says another. Egg prices alone jumped over 30% in 2026. Car insurance went up 22% in a single year. Rent in most major U.S. cities is up over 30% since 2020. So you're earning 4% and losing 6%. Do the math. That 10 grand you worked overtime for, skipped trips for, ate sad desk lunches for? It's worth about $9,800 in real buying power by next year. And $9,600 the year after. You're not saving. You're slowly donating to a system that's eating you alive in polite little bites. Here's where it gets darker. Banks aren't holding your money to protect it. They're using it. The second your paycheck hits, they loan it out at 7%, 9%, 24% on credit cards, and toss you back a tiny 4% like a tip. You're literally funding someone else's wealth with your own money. And they thank you with an app that has a nice green check mark. Now I know what you're thinking. Okay, genius, then what do I do with my first 10 grand? Because this is the moment that actually matters. Your first $10,000 is not just money. It's the seed. Studies from Fidelity show that the people who invest their first 10 grand by age 30 end up with around 7 to 10 times more wealth by retirement than people who start just 5 years later. 5 years. That's it. That's the gap between comfortable and still working at 67. Picture two friends, same age, same salary, same starting point. Jake invests his first 10 grand at 25 and lets it quietly grow. Mike waits until 30 because he wants to figure things out first. 5 years later, they still look identical. Same apartment, same job, same life. But fast forward another 20 years? That tiny head start becomes a gap so big Mike spends the rest of his life trying to catch it. That's the brutal thing about money. You don't notice the difference until it's too late. So let's talk about what real people, not finance bros in Lambos, actually do with that first 10 grand. You need a survival buffer. For some people, that's 1 month. For others, it may be 3 to 6 months. Depends on your job stability and responsibilities. The point isn't building a giant pile of cash forever. It's creating enough breathing room so one bad week doesn't become a financial disaster. That advice keeps you broke and scared. Just 1 month of rent, food, and basic bills sitting in a high-yield account like Ally, Marcus, or Wealthfront. That's around $2,000 to $3,000 for most people. This isn't your investment money. This is your, I don't have to say yes to a toxic job money. This is freedom insurance. Because here's what they don't tell you. Most people never invest because they're one flat tire away from a financial panic attack. That buffer isn't about money. It's about decisions. It lets you think clearly. And clear thinking is the most expensive thing in the world right now. Step 2. With the next chunk, around $5,000, you're going into the boring stuff that quietly makes millionaires. And I mean boring, like watching paint dry boring. But that's the secret nobody on TikTok wants to tell you because boring doesn't sell courses. I'm talking about a low-cost index fund. specifically something like VTI or VOO. These are funds that basically let you own a tiny piece of the 500 biggest companies in America. Apple, Microsoft, Coca-Cola. The same companies that are charging you $7 for a latte and $1,200 for a phone. If you can't beat them, own them. Here's the data that should make you angry you weren't told this in school. The S&P 500 has averaged around 10% per year for the last 50 years. That means if you drop $5,000 into VOO right now and never touch it, in 30 years it's worth around $87,000. Without you adding a single extra dollar, you literally just let it sit. And it grows while you're at work, at the gym, asleep, on vacation. That's the cheat code. Nobody's hiding it. They're just hoping you're too distracted to use it. Open a Roth IRA through Fidelity or Schwab. It takes about 10 minutes on your phone. No fees, no catch. Inside that Roth, you buy VOO or VTI. And here's the magic part nobody explains properly. Every dollar that grows inside a Roth IRA is tax-free when you pull it out at retirement. Tax-free? And here's why people love it. Under current rules, qualified withdrawals in retirement can come out tax-free, which means more of your gains stay yours instead of getting chipped away over time. In a country where they tax your paycheck, your gas, your groceries, your Uber, your Netflix, and your dying breath, a Roth IRA is one of the only legal escape hatches left. It gets worse, though, because here's what they really don't tell you. The reason financial education isn't taught in schools isn't an accident. Think about it for a second. They taught you the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. They taught you cursive. They taught you what a rhombus is. But not a single class on compound interest, taxes, or investing. A 2023 survey by the National Financial Educators Council found that financial illiteracy cost the average American $1,506 in 2023 alone. Multiply that by a lifetime, that's hundreds of thousands of dollars gone. Because nobody sat you down for 45 minutes and explained an index fund. That's not a bug in the system. That's the system. Step 3. The next $2,000 goes somewhere most people are too scared to put it. A small, calculated bet on yourself. And I don't mean some sketchy crypto coin your cousin is hyping in the group chat. I mean skills, a certification, a course that actually leads to income, a camera, a laptop, a freelance setup, something that can turn into a second income stream. Because here's a stat that should be tattooed on every 25-year-old's forehead. According to IRS data, wealthy people usually don't rely on a single paycheck. Over time, they build multiple sources of income: investments, businesses, real estate, side income. Because one stream can stop. Multiple streams create options. 7. You have 1, maybe 1.5 if you Uber on weekends. The math isn't matching, and it never will until you build a second stream. Your $10,000 isn't just supposed to grow, it's supposed to build the thing that grows the next $10,000 faster. That last $500? Keep it liquid. For opportunities. Not emergencies, not shopping, not treat yourself. Opportunities. A stock crash. A discounted course. A friend's small business you can buy into. Rich people always have what's called dry powder. Cash ready to strike when everyone else is panicking. You need that too, even if it's small. Now here's the part that's going to sting a little. You can do all of this. Every single step. Perfectly. And you'll still feel behind. Because the system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed. Wages have grown about 24% since 2000. The cost of living has grown over 70%. Housing has more than doubled. College tuition is up 180%. You're not lazy. You're not bad with money. You were dropped into a game where the rules changed mid-match and nobody told you. So when your friends flex new cars and new iPhones while quietly drowning in debt, and you're sitting there with a Roth IRA, a buffer, and a side skill brewing, you're not behind. You're awake. And being awake is rare right now. Here's my real question for you. And I want you to actually think about it before you scroll. Do you think it's a coincidence that the most important financial knowledge of your life was the one thing they never taught you in school? Or was it designed that way on purpose? Drop your honest answer in the comments. Just one word. Coincidence? Or designed? I read every single one. And if any part of this video made you feel a little uncomfortable, a little seen, a little angry, comment awake below. Because that feeling? That's the first real asset you've ever owned. But here's the part that should keep you up tonight. Even after you do all of this, even after the Roth, the index fund, the side hustle, the buffer, there's one more move the wealthy make with their money that the middle class has never even heard of. And it's the reason their kids start life already ahead of yours. We'll talk about that one next time.